Grand Circus Parking Garage is a below-grade parking structure that is actually below Grand Circus Park, if you can imagine that. It's about a 55-year-old structure, which was originally owned by the City of Detroit, went through an apparent several decade period of lack of maintenance, and ultimately changed ownership, and basically was thrown into the spotlight with a news article that identified that there was concrete raining down on residents or on tenants within that leased parking space. So Pullman was engaged to provide some emergency type services, removing any immediate hazards and installing shoring as needed. And ultimately it evolved into a large-scale design-build project. It was a 2-year schedule, actually completed in just over a year and a half, involving slab repair, replacement, and repair to every other structural member of the facility.
First phase was 2 levels, and that one we did with hydro demo. And when we moved to the second phase, once they accelerated the program, we went to a different way of removal, which was cut and pluck, we call it, where you cut the slabs out that are manageable and lift them out, and then just take every bit out and redo the whole section at a time. So it just all worked well.
The schedule changed from 2 years to a year and a half. Basically, one of the things we had to do to be able to accommodate that schedule was to have them give us more area to work in.
We were able to reduce the phasing to 2 phases to create a more streamlined approach, a safer overall approach for those passing through, and a shorter schedule.
Time frame was very challenging. I mean, a lot of hours was challenging.
We ramped up our crew size on days. Then we had second shift and third shift up. Around the clock we had going on.
When we first started doing the concrete demo, we tried a couple different things that just weren't working out. So we tried doing like some hydro demolition, and when we realized that just wasn't going to cut it with the schedule that we had, and we had to move on to different types of demo, and the one that we found that worked the best and really helped us on the schedule was essentially cutting out like a third of the deck at a time and plucking it out with a skid steer, and then we had to form it all back up and pour it. I mean, it was a massive concrete pour to do at one time. You know what I mean? We were pouring 300 yards at a time, which is pretty significant.
There was a lot of work that was going on. They had barricades up, but we had Brock machine inside there. We had guys doing demo. We had shoring all over the place. Fall protection set up, SRLs in different areas.
Just such a high quantity of shoring that you have to inspect every day. You have to make sure that it's in the right place, that it's tight, it's secure, over multiple levels and multiple shifts. Equipment constantly running through on all levels of the garage.
Overhead concrete from the ground slab that we wasn't repairing, hanging chunks of that stuff falling down, making sure you formed up the right areas that we had to cut out, other contractors in there, open holes that you had to block off. You couldn't cover up all of it because they were so massive, but you had to block off to make sure we knew where they had to be and which way to go, not to go.
Had retractables that we probably had 30 to 40 retractables hanging at one time at each section.
I mean, just so many different parts that were involved in making that place as safe as it was.
With a job that size and a schedule that tight, I mean, everybody had to work together as one unit, and we did a really good job. I mean, there was 3 crews running. We were working 24 hours a day, and they all kind of just fell right in. I mean, whoever was leading first shift would fill in second shift, and they just continue on.
This project was set up as a design-build approach. This allowed for a lot of flexibility, but it also allowed for a more streamlined and quick response to an immediate safety concern, life and safety hazard that was present within the parking structure. so work was actually able to be kicked off while design was still underway. It provided a much more rapid response than typical design bid build scenario would have.
We had multiple subcontractors that contracted underneath us, electrical, painting, elevator, fire suppression, plumbing, all those different trades all worked under our contract.
There's just a lot of moving parts, and in order to meet the schedule, needing to perform one task right as soon as it's available to be performed after the prior task has been complete, and with demo and slab replacement, required a lot of close attention to detail and maintaining of schedules and tracking tools to keep that moving forward.
Brandon, Jamie, Mark, those guys, they just did an awesome job of really being committed to our project management principles and making sure that the job was safe, quality, and that we had a happy team, customer, etc. So I'm definitely super proud of what we accomplished on that job. We
took this massive mess that the structure was and turned it into a bright, shining, basically brand new parking deck. I think there's a lot of pride in being able to look at that and say, here's what we did.
I mean, down from the chipping guys to the formwork guys to, pour crews and rebar, everything. Like, everyone came together and did a good job.
Just a huge overall safety success. When you think about Jeremy and what he was all about, and what this award stands for, something that everyone in the Detroit office, everyone that was a part of this project can be proud of.